introduce in here. The first one is that the safety differently see people not as a solution to harness rather than a problem to control. If the people be seen as a problem to control, we're gonna be increasing the monitoring, increasing a patrol, increasing surveillance to the people. But if we see the people as an expert in their field, we can more willing to talk to them, more willing to ask them how we're gonna do this work safely. So Lloyd Clive is a psychologist from Australia. He produced a book. It's called the Next Generation Safety Leadership in 2020. It's kind of an interesting book because in there he wrote about this fear loop. If we see people as a problem, we're gonna be more focused on behavior. We have a stick and carrot method. Try to motivate people. Instead, that's gonna be making people gonna be inhibit the speak up behavior, just like being previously presented by Ibu Dian Ratna Sawitri. It's very nice presentation about the psychological safety. Also doing this dissertation. Hopefully I can graduate from this topic also. Try to research about the speak up behavior and the relation between the mediation of the psychological safety. While if we try to look people as a solution, we're gonna have a trust system, a trust loop where we're gonna be focusing on relation. We're gonna increase the trust, and they have gonna have a high psychological safety. And we need to make people to speak up, to report problems, and then to speak up their mistakes, because we cannot have one procedure that been very specific and very detailed, explaining about how we're gonna do our job in this complex world. So the psychological safety, like previously mentioned by Ibu, we have Professor Edmondson. He tried to research about adverse drug event at the hospital. Well, the previous hypothesis that he said that the team with high performance make lower error, but his finding is not relevant with that. But is the finding of the research, his research, is that better team make more error, but better team, while they're making more error, they have climate of openness, and they talk openly about their mistakes, and they're trying to figure out ways how to catch and prevent them in the next future. So that is what makes them, this is very suitable for highly interdependent working team or environment. And then the second one is that we need to improve safety net by focusing on behavior or working condition, but by changing our condition. It's very clear. In here we have two videos. The first video is just trying to motivate people. Hey, do you know who's responsible for your safety? And then when he opened the mirror looking at him. While the second one, we try to implement a locking mechanism. If the blade of this cutter hit the human skin, it's gonna activate a brake, very fast braking mechanism, so it's gonna stop it without injuring the person. And now people nowadays is only focused on personal factor when we talk about human factor. While not, we need to also discuss about how we gonna focusing on job factor. How about the job clarity, the signal, the instruction? How about the equipment? How about the complexity of the task? Is it routine? How about the attention that people working in the procedure is adequate, the time available, the tool equipment, and also the organizational factors such as manning level, the pressure, peer pressure, the quality of floor, the effectiveness of learning, and so on. You can move on. If you want to learn about this more, you can try to study about the human factors or economic. So this is the case study at our case about the event. Bu Jihan, if my time's up, please remind me. Bu.
All right.
How many minutes again, Bu?
You still have like 25 minutes.
Okay, 25 minutes. Okay, we have another 25 minutes. Thank you, Bu. So in here, we have the example of the study in the mistake that people gonna do is on this overhead crane panel that looks similar, but it have a different button. It has different button. Which one is gonna be up or down? It's gonna be moving forward, backward, and so on. And this is gonna be causing they have an error from the job or work or workplace activities for workplace factor. While the other one is about the event that I can notice from the drilling industry. We have a tool pusher that been working at the high pressure, high temperature drilling rig, but the other tool pusher is not very experienced with that, so they make up a working arrangement with like a 6 minute, a 6 hour on duty, and then 6 hours again they're working together, and then the next 6 hours one is going to be doing the job. So in drilling industry, in the oil gas industry, we have a working 12 hours per days, and then we're going to switch on between each shift. And their arrangement, this kind of arrangement, is causing them to have a fatigue, and then they also have a very serious incident while because they are fatigued, and then they both not have enough rest from that one. And the other one is from the drilling, from the work of from the construction industry on the platform, because there's this construction team doesn't report directly to the working oversight at the drilling operation, while the production consider them reporting to the drilling leadership, but the drilling leadership presume or assumption they're being monitored by the production crew. So that end up is one of the crew worker walking backward, and then they have been he accidentally dropped 10 meter to the sea from the offshore platform production. So the third theme or the topic is that we need to learn more from success rather in addition from learning from failure or accident. The current safety management focusing more on the small portion of the total experience base. We have in a day, in a month, from 100 permit to work, we only have probably 1% of the event is related to the accident, yeah? While the 99% is being done correctly, or things go right on that bigger chunk of the event. So we need to try to understand why success happen while there are the same resources, same equipment, same tools, same site or location had been working good, gitu. And this kind of graphic have been also we need to try to understand from this, right? If you want to success from our college, do we learn from the people that have been dropped out from the school? Of course not. We learn from the people that have been having good grades, and how do they manage their time, how do they try to make an effective learning experience. And also from our if you guys are on marriage, if you want to have a long marriage relation, we will try to learn from the or older people. Well, they have been married for 70 years or 50 years. How do they manage to keep not doing divorce, not going to divorce, while they also have they also human that can be have an emotion, that have be tired and somehow, and it's very low. It's very unheard that we learn that if we try to make our marriage better, if we want to try our school better by learning from people who get divorced or people who drop out from school. So why do in our workplace we try to make our workspace better? We learn from the people who have accidents. Why we don't learn from people who got their work safely and try to investigate why their work is can been working as fluently and without any trouble at all. So this is Professor Sidney Dekker. When he was being asked by a health authority with employed 25,000 workers, he been presented with data that 1 in 13 patients that have been taking want to have receive health care, they have hurt or they have been abnormal process while they are receiving the care. So, for instance, then they have a drug that have been not correctly, or they have been produced treatment that not suitable for their physical bodies. So the finding and accidents related to their event the one from 13 patients, or the 7%, is because they have a workaround, they have a shortcut violation, guideline that follow error, miscalculation, unavailable people, unreliable measurement, user unfriendly technologies, supervisory shortcoming, and so on. When Sidney Dekker asked, so how about 12 from the 13 patients that were successfully have the care from your organization? How what do they have? The finding is very similar. 12 in 13 patients were success in process of receiving care, despite of they have a workaround, they have circuit, they have violation, they have guideline not follow, and also some of these items. So what happened? So he understand that 12 in 13 patients were success or safe in the process of receiving care because they have a diversity of option and the possibility to voice dissent, because the nurse have the courage to tell the doctor, because, oh doctor, how about we check about this, how about we check about that, and then the different doctor have a different opinion and make them reach a better quality decision while they're determining the cause of the one patient symptoms or disease. Also, they break down the barriers between hierarchies and departments. So within the supervisor and the crew, within the head of the hospital and the doctors, and then between the pharmacy and the nursing, also with the other department, they have a breaking down barriers. This is important, so they can really work together very well, and everyone have the ability to stay stop if they see something abnormal, if they see something that make them doubt, and then they're discussing risk, and then they're referring to expertise. They don't talk if they don't confidence that their expertise in one subject, and then they're trying to improve things that they sees, whether it's from design of the equipment, design of the tools, and then they try to make it a quick fix on the field, so they will improve and not waiting for the audit or inspection to improve, and they have very much pride in their work, that causing them to very try to give their best at their workplace. So this is the example of safety in practice. In one of the simple cases, like this urban road. It's very simple urban road in Dutch. And very simple. They have very much they when this junction have a lot of accidents. They have been stuck or traffic jam during the peak hour. So instead of implementing a strict light or design of the road, they're removing all of that. They're removing the road sign, the median for the street, the separator of the street, and then causing the car driver, the bike driver, the pedestrian owning the risk when they walk. So they're moving very caution, and it is reducing the number of accidents, and it is reducing also the traffic jam during the peak hour at this road. And we also have this the last example that I will show you about this experience that they have at the mutual services. Let me share the sound of this.
Mitchell Services is an ASX listed company. We've got over 350 employees. It doesn't matter what company you are, you should be operating safely, but certainly at Mitchell Services it's all about our people. I think we've come a long way as a team and as a business over the last 5 or so years, and over that time our incident severity has reduced, our incident occurrence has reduced, and that's a credit to Josh and his team.
The end of year is usually a high risk time of year, and that's where everyone focuses on everything that went wrong throughout the year. We actually turned that on its head and focused on what are the things that we did right. 6,000 shifts where we had no injuries at all compared to the 5 that we did. So we've learnt from those 5 injuries, but what about the 6,000 times where everything went right? Our home stretch program consisted of a number of areas. It started with leaders going out in the field and introducing the concepts of safety differently and encouraging the workforce to tell us about how you deal with variability. We changed our pre-shift meetings so that we would talk about, okay, what changed yesterday and how did you deal with it? Another thing was the Our People, Our Solutions initiative, where we'd encourage the workforce to come up with ideas to make their workplace better. And then we created crew chats, which was about humanising our workforce, that we're all from different backgrounds and that we're a growing business. So we've got employees scattered all around Australia and they've all got different personalities. But the one thing that brings us together is that we all work for Mitchell Services. Safety can be measured in the absence of something or it can be the presence of something. For us, our injury frequency rate dropped by 60%. The rate of injuries or the amount of injuries dropped by 40%. But our focus was more on let's learn from our workforce and let's make this a better place to work and a safer place to work.
The most important thing for me with the initiative is that everybody got to go home safely. That's the most important thing to me, is to see my family, and I want everyone that works for us, regardless of what they're doing, to do the same.
I've actually been able to make a change to the people that work for Mitchell Services and actually apply concepts that are very different to traditional safety, and we've been able to make them work.
Right. So, as a closing remark, I would like to reiterate, you would like to focus more about the topic that we have been discussing. The first one is that the safety science has been growing, so we need to learn more and try to figure out how we can implement that at our workplace. And then the second one is working environment is much more driven. 100 years ago when Henrik tried to introduce us about the triangle, safety triangle, and it's the complexity of today's problem possibly cannot be solved by the solution that we're producing 100 years ago. So we need to try to understand what is better solution for our today's problems. And then the physical or social behavior, social environment, like previously I mentioned about the performance influencing factor, such as a job factor and then the organizational factor. It influence how worker behave, yeah. And then we need to try to identify that also. And one thing that I have been mentioning here is that we try to understand about the sharp end and balloon end. Sharp end is the people at the front line that turning the wrench, and the balloon end is the people that been working as a supportive people, like the manager, like the planner, and then the people that producing policies to support the worker in front. So we need to also try to identify not only the worker on site or people on the sub end, but we need to understand the people on the office and then people that is balloon end. And human need to fill the gap is in imperfect world. We don't have a perfect system. Our equipment is not perfect. Our work site also, and procedure also, and human is there to implement their creativities or ingenuities and their adaptability with the working environment, and that is what makes us safe every day. So the new view in this safety need to be, or we as a safety practitioner need to understand this new view or safety differently in order to complement the problem created that cannot be solved by the conventional safety problem. Their reference, if we want to read more, and then in Indonesia we have a WhatsApp group, Safety Differently Indonesia Communities, that we can try to discuss more about this. I think that's all from me, Ibu Jihan. The last warning for me is that safety professional should view people as a solution to harness rather than a problem to control, and consider safety more as a present of positive capabilities, and move away from vocabulary of control, constraint, deficit, and move into empowerment, diversity, and human opportunity. Thank you, Jihan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shamsul. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move into the Q&A sessions. For the participants, please type your question in the chat box, or alternatively, you may use the raise hand features if you wish to ask directly. And also, the session is also being live streamed on YouTube, where participants are encouraged to join the discussions and submit their question directly to the live chat. And the committee will read the questions and move it into the chat box. All right, we can see there is questions, or perhaps I can start with the questions to warm up the discussions. All right, Mr. Samsul, in your experience, what is the most common industrial challenge in implementing psychological-based safety and health culture? And you have experienced more than 15 years. So I wonder, so what is the difference of implementing psychological-based safety and health culture then and now?
Okay, Bu Jihan. In my experience, when we talk about psychology, we tend to, but the people is understand psychology in a right term. For example, this is an interesting book from the Clive that I've been showing at my presentation. He said that in the real world, when people consulting or try to consult with their psychologist, nobody use the behaviorism method. Nobody use stick and carrot method as a tools to improve someone. So in today's world, no practitioner or psychologist do that again. And while we at the industry is still heavily relying on stick and carrot or reward and punishment, in order to improve our safety culture, in order to improve or behavior on site, while the background of that science is very much very being doubt by the practitioner, by the people on the psychology. So that is one thing that we don't actually understand the valid or reference, the valid or the up-to-date science about things that we need to understand before we make it as a program. So I think that is one of the challenges that we have here. For example, and we try to simplify or the simplification of our understanding on the topic or on the method. For example, in the behavior-based safety program, people will implement that not fully, not as an integrated program, but they implemented it partially. The important thing is that we already captured or we put it on the record system that, hey, I observed this one and observed this one. But while in the whole integrate on the holistic program sees not only the recording of the behavior observation that is important, but it's also that the discussion that they have between the observee and the observer, that what's create safe or the culture better, because people will the willingness of people to interrupt, the willingness of people to say the truth or direct to people, and the willingness of the people to appreciate when people work safe. That discussion that happen on the field that create safety, not just only the record keeping. And I think that two topic that become a problem on us as a practitioner.
All right. So, as I see the trend on social media or on the news, I saw that many beginner workers, they have, like maybe kind of weak mental. So they come up with like mental health problems. So, like they are a beginner, maybe perhaps like 6 months experience of working in that company, but they say they have like a lot of work and they need healing, or they need like they need to take some day off and then go for somewhere and refresh their energy. So is that also happen in your company, or maybe they have another trend?
It's an interesting question, yeah, Bu Jihan. Well, time change, people change, the way the parents grow their children is also change, and the equipment they change, because we need to understand the context of today's child being raised up, because it's not like the old the old gens millennial that they play with their peer, their friends in open door or outdoor, they're walking or they're playing something. Into this children, possibly they are being more like cyber friends, and then less of the physical activities. And then when they're not very directly meet with the stress in their life, because it's different with you angry with people face to face and then angry with people online. It's gonna be it's very much different, because the people you see face to face can hit you, and then that's make the people on all days probably stronger, because they have the consequence, they understand the consequence, and they take the consequence for that. If they have stress or they have a clash with their friends. And nowadays we don't have any that. More people talking not good at the social media and didn't have any consequence. Most of the people are having the consequence when they talk trash to other people. So the condition of the people that have been raised and the equipment that the context of that also change to the making them different in the way they perceive, in the way they are try to processing the experience they have at the workplace. So I think it's also their right. They have 25 days of leave or 12 or 14 days of leave, and if they take it, it's also it's part of their right of working. So it's I think it's fair enough because we need to. I think I agree with that because it's their right to have mental health, and then they speak up. Very much have a direct or speak up behavior from them. I think that's good.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Samsul. So we have questions in the chat box, so I will read them for you. So the first chat is from, oh, it's a company. It's Champindo Buana Indonesia, Zavira. So the question is, I am an industrial hygiene practitioner working at an environmental testing laboratory with an industrial organizational psychology background. I focus on psychosocial aspects of industrial hygiene, but I'm not as deep as my occupational health and safety colleagues in physical, chemical, biological, and also ergonomic risks. Internationally, ISO 45,003-2021 on psychosocial risk is recognized, yet adoption in Indonesia remains limited. My questions: how can a psychology background be a strong competitive differentiator, not only a psychosocial touch, assertive communication and human factor, but also the technical integration of industrial hygiene? What is the minimum technical competencies should I master to remain competitive? And how should occupational health psychology be positioned in organizations that are still unfamiliar with it? Thank you, sir. So that is the question. So perhaps this question is for a career in psychological, occupational health psychology.
Baik, Bu Ihan. Very interesting question ya, Bu Zafira ya. Bu Zafira, we try to in the industrial hygiene. I think the best, the easy step that I can give tips to you is that if you want to try to be what minimum technical competency should you master to remain competitive? The first one is that the basic for the industrial hygiene certification in Indonesia, we have 3 levels, if I'm not mistaken. We have hygiene industry muda or himu, and then we also have hima or hygiene industry madya. It's the middle level, and then the top level is the hiu, hygiene industry utama. And if by gaining those certification, you need to go to the class and then gain some knowledge about how to measure and what is the current flow and something. It very good if you have that certification to able to have a solid foundation about the things that you've been doing on your specific skill, yeah. Hygiene industry muda, hygiene industry madya, or hygiene industry utama. And also they have we now also have in Indonesian Industrial Hygiene Association, IHA. I'm part of, also a member of that. You can try to Google that in Indonesian Industrial Hygiene Association. They have currently, I think this week, yeah. They have a conference in Jakarta that have classes and then sharing the paper on presentation conference. They also have IHA have a certification for industry for industrial hygiene. So it very much they have a very strict a module that they need to implement because call it a certified industrial hygiene specialist, and they are being need to have module that you have been you need to have a module that you also been understand. For example, let me you have a module such as how to measure the how to measure the how do you measure the hazard in the air, and how that also and that is very much simple simple ways that you can upgrade your technical skill on the industrial hygiene. While for the psychological psychology, I think that is your very much competitive differentiator. You also have understand that as your strong skill. Yeah, I think it's very good that you also have that. But not only that, industrial hygiene, you can move that a little bit to the human factor side, because in human factor in Indonesia is not very common. Where the people try to understand the design, the equipment, and Indonesia is not very also not very commonly recognized. We have a human factor organization in Indonesia. Also, we have call it the PEI, Himpunan Ergonomi Indonesia, Indonesian Ergonomic Society Association, previously been led by Prof. Ichel, now currently the Ministry of the Labor in Indonesia. Also, I was a committee over there, and then I was also committee at the IHA. So it's very much joining those organizations aside from obtaining a certification, and then joining organization that have very good in the subject that you like is gonna improve your competency. I think that's it.
All right. So another questions. Another question from. Oh, so this is from the committee. Maybe I think is this discussion come from the live stream YouTube. So in your presentation, you mentioned the shift from behaviorism to human factors. Could you please elaborate on how this transition changed the way organizations perceive human roles in safety systems, particularly in distinguishing between humans as the cause of trouble versus human as the recipients of systemic issues? Also, this is a quite, I think this is quite highly question.
Baik, thank you, Bu. Now, this is very interesting question. Yeah, the transition is on the way. It's very big, slowly move, especially in the complex or highly complex industry, and then in some of the industries such as aviation, they have this also. They already have been implementing this one, because the role of how we do human factors assessment, how we identify behavioral markers or something like that. I last Saturday I also joined a webinar from Human Factor Indonesia, HFI, where most of the member from the aviation industry, so they already been implementing one of the tools. How they try to transition this in managing safety. So the first one that I can probably comment on this question is that when we try to change, or when we try to shift from considering human as cause of the trouble or source of the problem to human as a recipient of systemic issues or human as a solution to harness. The first one is we try to understand that most of the worker, probably 99.9% worker, are going to the workplace not trying to get themselves injured. So I think that's the first mindset that we need to have. So nobody want to get accident at the workplace. Nobody intentionally get accident. Oh, I will do this so I can get accident, so I can claim my BPJS or something like that. Nobody want to get themselves hurt and their loved one at home cannot meet them again with different kind of injury. So we need to understand that most of the people going to the workplace don't have bad intention. So we need to understand that. We need to change the mindset, because if we think that the people gonna do some damage or some sabotage, we need to make more surveillance, make more supervision, make more monitoring. We need to change from that, because they're doing work, they're trying to do the halal work, try to gain some money from their families, but they're being given inadequate equipment, their tools not meet with their job site or their challenge at the work site, or they're not given the equipment that they're the better equipment for them to do the job. For example, if there's a manual handling job, they're not being given tools to make their lifting easier. They're not being given tools to make their work better. Well, we try to, hey, just lift this and then try not to hurt yourself. But that's not the solution for our problem, because the trouble is, for example, if we have back that being weighted for 40 kilos of back is not very ergonomic weight to be carried by one person. But still, the packages from the manufacturer come with that weight of 15 kilos and 14 kilos or 30 kilos, 25 kilos, and that is a trouble themselves. And a human need to adapt with that, whether they carrying them by themselves and causing them to hurt their back. So that is a systemic issue that we need to understand, that people go there to not to do some intentional error, and then the equipment, that the design of the equipment, the material that they receive is not safe enough or not health enough for them to work. So we need to try not just identify a hazard, but identify what are the error trap that can be happening on our workspace. For example, okay, this is the error trap A and error trap B. So how do we gonna solve these issues so human can get better? And when the third one is when we try to transition from this one, is that we need to understand that the transition need leadership shifting, and then also that we need to understand that the human error is not a cause of problem, but we need to understand that it's only a symptom of a deeper issues in the organization. We need to understand that also, because most of the time we can be easily blame people, because we thought that they are the root cause for this problem. Well, in fact, it's not that have been happened. We need to understand that human is only a superficial or the symptom of a deeper issue. We need to understand, to look back on the job factor and look deeper on the organizational factor. So don't stop at that point. So I think that's the topic that we need to understand if we want to transition or shift from make assuming that people are the cause of trouble to see people as a solution to harness. I think that will Jihan.
All right. So as I get a text from the committee, so our second speaker, Dr. Azizan, would like to ask you a question. So please, Dr. Azizat, you can ask the question to Mr. Shamsul.
I think Dr. Aziza need to explain more.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator, Ms. Jihan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mr. Samsul, Bapak Samsul. So your presentation is very interesting. And I do believe that all of us, have very good information from the inputs that you have given to us. But anyway, I just have a very simple question. In your opinion, why do accidents, regardless whether it is big or small, still happen, even though we already have a good safety management system in place?
Okay, well, that is a simple question, but hard to answer. Yeah, probably this is my opinion, ya, Pak Aziz. Accident happen, well, in a complex system. The variability of the accident happen because of if you want to try to see it from the conventional theory of the new and diversity safety differently point of view. In this case, I'll try to comment that from safety differently point of view, because accident happen because of the things. It come from the same causes. The success happened at our workplace too, just like my slide previously. So if we try to identify, why this accident happened in this permit, why this accident? Why we try to construct causes from that event using a backward view and try to identify, risk assessment, hazard identification, procedural not adequate, and something like on. But if we try to use the same perspective, the same frame of mind why do successful event also occur? We also gonna find that on the job that have been done successfully, the work, the procedure is also not complete. The risk identification also not complete. The JSA or job safety analysis also not complete. Why do that safe event happen and what is accident happen? Because we cannot differentiate that, but we can. So that's why on the safety differently mindset, we don't look very much on why this is happening, but we try to understand why do, even though the JSA is incomplete, even though the procedure is inadequate, even though the supervisor is shortcoming, why do the work is still safe? We try to understand that, and then we try to make it that as a topic to learn to other groups. Okay, we